James is in Toronto. Hi, James. Welcome to the Entre Podcast.
Thank you, Dave. How you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up in your world?
I own a home medical equipment store in Toronto. We have 8 employees, including myself, and have a revenue of $2.5 million.
Wow.
I purchased this business on a loan 3 years ago. Since I purchased the business, I have doubled our revenue, and in the next 3 months, I'll be paying off my business loan in full 3 years ahead of schedule.
Mic drop. Way to go. Whoop, whoop, whoop,
Thank you. My question is whether I should continue to invest the majority of my profits in my business, as we are in a strong growth business, and continue to gain market share, or should I increase my own wage and start to invest more in my personal goals, such as long-term investments and eventually a home?
Wow. Well, I don't think there's a wrong answer. It's just a matter of where you want to weight it. I wouldn't do all of one and none of the other, right? I mean, I wouldn't take everything out of the business and stagnate the business, and I wouldn't leave everything in the business and make no progress at home, right? So
Right.
All or nothing would not be a plan, but then the question is just how much you want to weight it. And what we do is these days is we budget for growth in the budget. And so okay, we need to do, you lay out a project, a thing you want to do. You want to add some people, you want to add a store, you want to add a product line. I don't know what it is in your world, but you lay out a thing you want to do and say, okay, what's that going to cost? All right. And out of the profits, I'm going to save up what that's going to cost, or I'm going to save up a large portion of it over the next X number of months and build a war chest to go do that project. And I just put that in the budget. And because I'm setting that savings aside, so I don't really have the cash. And then the profit after that budgeted cash is taken out for savings to do this, the profit that's left over is what I can talk about taking home. Now, you can't budget so many projects that you take nothing home. That's obviously not the plan either. That's what we just said earlier. But now, and the reason that's the way that it is today is I've got vice presidents, senior vice presidents, and operating board members running these business units, and they're standalone profit. They're like standalone businesses within the business. And so each of those businesses is tasked with cash flowing its own growth. So they have to build into their budgets within the group here, okay? Now, yours is one single P&L, so it's just you looking, instead of a P&L doing it, a separate company doing it, per company, you're just saying, all right, I've got these 3 things I want to do. I'm going to do them in this order, and the first one I'm going to do costs $25,000. I'm going to set that $25,000 aside before I bring it home. The next one's going to be $160,000, and I'm going to set that aside, over a period of 4 months, $40,000 a month, whatever the number is, right? And you just project your cash needs out in the budget, and that the mathematical effect of that is that you are actually leaving money in the business and growing the business. But you did it with a system and a pro forma rather than just generally going, okay, I'm going to leave 10% of the money in the business. You could do that if you want to leave a percentage, but and the rest of it's going home. And then the other thing we've done in the early days of Ramsey, like we were back at your size, is that we would look and do the same thing at home. We'd say, okay, Sharon needs a new car. I remember this one distinctly. She was driving a 1984 bird egg blue, god-awful Astro van that was covered with cheese bits and goldfish on the interior from raising toddlers, and it had 500 million miles on it, and it was nasty. And she needed a new car. And she's like, I have this Suburban picked out that's 2 years old. We're going to get a Suburban. And I'm like, no, I got this thing down at the office I want to do. And so both things were good things to do. We just had to decide which one we're going to do first, and you can guess which one we did first. Happy wife, happy life. So we bought the Suburban, and then I did the thing down at the office about 4 months later. So you could have a project at home, like you said something about buying a house, right, or paying off your house or whatever. You can have a project at home that goes, okay, I'm going to starve the business down just a little bit till I hit that little thing at home. and I'm going to bring it all home and do that. So it can ebb and flow. It doesn't have to be the same every quarter or every 6 month or every year or certainly even every month. You can change it around. Now, I like setting stuff up to try to just say a certain percentage and do that. But what we've ended up doing is we've been project-oriented for cash management rather than set percentages. Now, growing retained earnings is a separate discussion. That's just retained earnings are a slush fund. They are not designated to a project. That's just savings for emergencies, savings for uncertainty, savings for some growth that we did not plan for that just drops into our lap, and that kind of stuff. So that's that's what I would do. I would put a percentage of net profits going into retained earnings, and in a debt-free business, when you get there. We recommend, 15, 20%, something like that going in, and then the rest of it is available for the other things we've been talking about for the past 5 minutes. So very, very good. Way to go, man. You knocked this loan out in no time. You've doubled the revenue. You got to be walking around feeling like you did this. Way to go. That's awesome. That is so well played.